I'm sometimes too passionate about education. Those of you who've heard me speak before, I'm sorry. Those who haven't, I need to preface what I'm going to say tonight by saying I've been in Indianapolis all day long today attempting to lobby. It was very interesting. It was an interesting experience because in past years when I've been down there, you could pretty much empty a pump shotgun and not hit anyone in the Capitol. People were really hard to find. Today, I arrived a little bit surprised to find 3,500 labor union people there. I'm told that the crowd was down. On Monday there were 5,000, on Tuesday 4,000, and today there were only 3,500. But there was an interesting spin-off to that because when someone dressed like I am walks into a group of Teamsters, United Steelworkers, and their friends, you get mistaken for a legislator. As Rodney Dangerfield was great to say, rough crowd. At any rate, it was an interesting experience, and the one great advantage to it, if you've been watching the news, you know that the Wisconsin Democrats are now in Northwest Illinois. I spent 31 years in Northwest Illinois. So they're camped out in a motel near where my last high school was. The Indiana Democrats are camped out at Champaign-Urbana in Illinois. Evidently, Illinois seems to be a good run to. The bottom line is, as the previous speaker said, this is not just an Indiana problem. This is a nationwide assault on public education. It is an assault on public education, and it is an assault on public educators. And it's something I have a lot of problems with. Now, it doesn't take a missile scientist to figure out times are tough in education and fiscally in this country right now. Finances are tight all over. Business is not good. And the type of funding that we were used to back in the good old days of 2007, 2008 are gone and may never come back again. That's kind of grim, but that's the way it is. I came into my office on Friday morning last week, and it was the first day of the week that I didn't have a full calendar of events to go. And I sat down and I felt really good. And I opened up my emails to get the House Ways and Means Committee projections for 2012-2013 funding. And after spending 2.5 hours figuring out just how badly that was going to hurt Southeastern, my day deteriorated. What I found in looking at that is that the 2012-13 budget, as it's currently projected, is not good for schools in rural areas. It's not good for schools with static or declining enrollments, and it's not good for schools in highly urbanized big city environments. Bottom line is, it isn't too good. The growing schools in the suburban ring get some money, but truthfully, they don't get very much either, and it won't be enough to help them. The bottom line is, there's not enough money. Now, nobody likes higher taxes, but eventually, as the lady said, we have to come to the realization that services cost money. And as you saw the voucher bill, you saw the charter school bill, plan is that money's still going to come out of the same pie that all of us have right now. That's not particularly good news for those of us in the counties affected by the people here today. Now, the problem is Most of your superintendents in this area are pretty smart folks, and they're figuring out a way to deal with less. Your union leaders in this area have been good people realizing that there isn't a lot of money, and we haven't been fighting with each other. Most of us are operating on good faith, a handshake, and a hope that things will get better. That drives Tony Bennett absolutely crazy, which kind of makes me feel good every time I get a chance to talk to him about it. But he would like us to be in an adversarial relationship. And Craig kind of went through this in a real grim fashion, like we're going to be fighting with each other. You know, we all live together, guys. There's none of the superintendents who sit up tonight going, boy, how can I mess the union over today? And there's none of you that sit there and go, how can we squeeze another buck out of them when they know we don't have it? We work together. We're all in the same boat together. Now, the problem I see that's facing us is that aside from the money, we are going to be driven into the ground by mandates to improve education that I think are going to destroy public education as it currently exists. My elementary principal has been talking to me about the new third grade reading plan. First of all, let's really see how many 15-year-old third graders we want. But more important than that, this new third grade reading plan mandates 90 uninterrupted minutes of reading instruction a day. Let's really teach young children how to hate school. Have none of those people ever dealt with a group of 6, 7, and 8-year-olds? They have the attention span of a group of rabbits. I mean, good God. I can't visualize that at all. Obviously, none of them ever had basic ed psych 301. Second thing, the governor's brilliant plan to encourage students to graduate in 3 years instead of 4. This is so that the college prep kids can get out of school sooner. They'll give them the money we would have spent on them to pursue college, post-secondary training, whatever. And the other group is the kids who really don't get along well in high school. It'll allow them to go on and pursue whatever they're going to pursue. Now, in my opinion, that group of kids are going to pursue work at McDonald's or some other minimum paying job until they get fired and have to live in the real world. For an honors student headed to the University of Illinois or Purdue, pursuing an honors diploma, tell me what possible electives they can take and get all of the required courses through. The math doesn't work for me. And I see that as the end of art and music and anything else interesting that might broaden their perspective on the world. And I think that's bad for them and bad public policy. Personal opinion. As I said before, make no mistake that there is a full-scale assault on public education. Now, I see a very specific reason for that, and that is that the bean counters look at children as a commodity or a raw material. And they look at teachers as assembly line workers. Anybody can do the job. If we give you the curriculum and we give you the procedures that you will use and you follow this brilliant plan, the children will learn and the product will be turned out and it'll be cheaper. The bottom line, as the lady said, is money and power. Education is a labor-intensive business. If you can take the assumption that anybody can teach, then the pay rate goes down because anybody can do it. For more than 30 years, I've posed the question, is education an art or a science? My answer has always been yes. I don't believe anybody can teach. I believe you can be very knowledgeable and totally inept as a teacher. I also believe that you can know not a whole lot about your subject and still be a brilliant teacher. That doesn't fit the scenario that's being played.